You know, strangling someone is a potentially deadly crime, but domestic violence advocates say it's often downplayed in courts here in New Mexico.
Stephanie Claytor found out this year those advocates are trying again to define that crime in our criminal code. Steph?
That's right, Danielle. 44 states have a law addressing strangulation. New Mexico isn't one of them. Now, the New Mexico Coalition Against Domestic Violence has failed at passing a strangulation bill for the past 3 to 4 years, but they're not giving up yet. This year, they are trying a new approach, adding the definition of strangulation to 3 existing laws.
Carlos Martinez, a prime example of why domestic violence advocates are trying to get strangulation and suffocation clearly defined in our criminal code. Martinez is accused of strangling his girlfriend's 14-year-old son. The judge gave the convicted felon a $100,000 cash-only bond, but since strangulation isn't specifically outlined in our criminal code, domestic violence advocates fear his child abuse charge could be pled down to a lesser crime.
Our intent there, in cases like this, would be to make it easier to charge, number one, these cases appropriately, to enhance the conviction rate, and most importantly, to be able to get people the kind of medical help that they need.
The New Mexico Coalition Against Domestic Violence has been working with State Senator Daniel Ivy Soto to introduce and pass a bill that would add the definition of strangulation and suffocation to 3 statutes: aggravated battery against a household member, child abuse and neglect, and the Family Violence Protection Act. Director Lisa Weisenfeld says without legal definitions to help jurors in felony cases, prosecutors are forced to charge very serious acts of abuse as misdemeanor domestic violence. And she said someone who is strangled in a violent relationship is 7 times more likely to be a homicide victim later on.
Prosecutors, it's very difficult for them to get convictions, and many times it's pled down to even a misdemeanor crime when it takes so little to kill somebody by doing this act. 5 to 10 seconds, you can strangle a person to unconsciousness, and they can die within 5 to 10 minutes.
According to Weisenfeld, in many cases, the survivor doesn't have physical evidence that they've been strangled, and they often don't go to the doctor to find out if they have any internal injuries. She says that makes it hard to prove that they were in fact strangled when they go to court.
What we want to do is so that jurors can get jury instructions, right? That also make it really clear that a felony form of aggravated battery is strangulation or suffocation, so that it isn't a guessing game.
Now, according to Weisenfeld, the strangulation bill failed in the past because it was viewed as a new crime law, which legislators viewed as a costly measure. Now, Weisenfeld says Senator Ivy Soto is expected to introduce this definitional bill within the next couple of weeks. Live in the newsroom, Stephanie Claytor, KOB Eyewitness News 4.